everyone, I'm Stephanie Brinkerhoff with Hair and Makeup by Steph, and I'm here with Kenra Professional, and I'm going to walk you guys through an updo on stick straight hair. This is a really good option if you have a client whose hair will not hold a curl. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some texture to the roots, and I'm doing this using the Kenra Dry Volume Burst 3. This is going to make the hair easier to work with and also add some grit for the bobby pins so that the updo doesn't slip out. So I'm just working this through with my fingers and applying this throughout the whole head. Next, I'm going to go through with a texture iron, also to give it a little bit more texture and grit and volume. The texture iron is really good for straight hair because it gives it that lift and that texture that it needs without having to curl it. Sometimes this might seem like an unnecessary step, but it really makes a huge difference in the overall appearance of the updo, especially if your client has silky, fine hair. Then I'm going to go in with some of the Kenra moisturizing oil and just work this from the mid shaft to ends to make this a little bit shinier. Then I'm going to section out the hair from the ear forward just on the heavy side and clip that aside for later. Now before I begin the updo, I want to add some back combing at the roots in the back. This is going to give it some volume and also help the bobby pins have more security. So I'm just back combing at the roots anywhere that I believe that I'm going to be putting pins. So mostly just in the center back. And I'm locking that back combing in with the Kenra Volume Spray 25. Then I just am going to smooth that out and make sure it looks good from the exterior. Now I'm ready to get the crown section pinned, so I'm just slightly skimming the top layer of the crown in the back, and I'm gathering everything in towards the center. I'm really focusing on the texture right now, making sure there's no flyaways or frizz. And I'm going to get that twisted, and I'm holding it near the occipital bone. So I'm holding it a little bit lower in the back. And as I hold it with my left hand, I'm just using my right hand to soften it and add more texture and dimension. This is a really important step if you haven't curled the hair. Otherwise, the updo will end up looking too stiff and too non-dimensional. So the idea with the crown section is to get everything from the ears and up pinned into the center back. So I'm just adding a little bit more hair on the right and also on the left, getting those twisted and deconstructed a little bit and then pinned in the center. Okay, so now with the front section that I left out, I add a little bit more of the Kenra moisturizing oil, and then I'm going to go in and begin a twist braid. So I'm starting at the part and I'm picking up a horizontal row, and then I'm going to divide that in half and twist the front section over the back section. Then I'm just going to work my way down the head, picking up a new horizontal row, adding it to the front section, and then crossing it over the back section. And as I work down, I'm not including any of the fringe, and I'm also leaving a little bit out around her ear just to keep this nice and soft. So once I finish, I'm going to deconstruct this, just softly pull on it, working on it little by little until it has good volume and a nice shape. Then I'll go ahead and get this pinned in the center back. Okay, once again, I'm just detailing and locking this in place with the Kenra Volume Spray 25. Now I'm going to get the remaining hair in the back and get all of it in a low ponytail. In order to make this ponytail easier to work with, I'm going to backcomb all of it and spray it with the Kenra Volume Spray 25. This is going to make this ponytail section work together as one piece instead of a bunch of little individual sections. So the backcombing just kind of blends everything together and makes it much easier to work with. Okay, then I'll get that smoothed on the outside and I'll go ahead and loop up the ends, creating a small chignon. Then I'm just going to secure this to the scalp with bobby pins, and on the right hand side, bobby pinning over the elastic to hide it. And before I finish, I'm just going to go in with the Volume Spray 25 one more time, just give it a final look overall and make sure everything is looking good, and hairspray that in place. Okay, and these are the steps that I would follow to create this low twisted chignon on stick straight hair.